Hi, welcome to this. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Angela. I am going to be doing some horror movie reviews. As many of you know, probably from Normal World, that horror is a huge part of my life. I probably see every horror movie that comes out. I've seen, oh god, it's a problem. Everybody on the internet's been talking about Blake Lively lately, and what I know Blake Lively from is this beautiful little movie called Simon Says from 2006. You can type in Google Simon Says movie, and you are going to be able to watch the whole thing on YouTube. This movie stars Crispin Glover, Crispy Gloves, which you may know from being the creepy thin man on Charlie's Angels. And he was in that rap movie. So you're going to see him on the cover. You're going to see Blake Lively on the cover. She's also billed on there. And that's kind of interesting because we will get to that. I think you will probably notice as I start going through the plot of this movie that she is not in this movie until the last 2 minutes. She has one line at the very end. But I think her star was kind of rising at the time because she just did Accepted and Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. So... also, interestingly, her stepdad, Ernie Lively, is the producer of this movie, so perhaps that has something to do with it, Daddy. So, either way, I'm thrilled that she was in it. I'm sure she wishes she could forget it, but the internet lives on, so let's get to it.
All right, so right off the bat, we are treated to a black and white kind of old movie footage of the main actress in this movie. Margo Harshman is her name, but she is most well known for playing Tawny on Even Stevens. I will henceforth refer to her only as Tawny. I do not care what her character's name is. I just honestly don't care. She is Tawny to me. She's Tawny. She's Tawny. We open up on footage of Tawny. She's got two little toddler boys. They're playing in the yard. They've got the worst wigs I have ever seen in my life. My God. What is that?
They're playing in the yard with their terrible wigs. Out of nowhere, one of them picks up a toy truck and bashes the other kid on the head with it. Tawny wakes up. She's woken from her dream. I guess this was a dream sequence. Then the opening credits come up. Murder machine blueprints. Bones. Beautiful bones. News clippings. And on these news clippings, you're going to see something that says, twins still in coma. Not retarded. And then, twins set free. Insanity works. Woo! Fuck yeah, insanity. So we got some twins here. Clearly there's a twin theme going on. Once the credits are done, we're going to get a van shot with some friends traveling in their van. It's going to be trope central. The smart final girl, Tawny. Her jock boyfriend, Riff or Raff or who cares. The slutty girl. The annoying girl. Stony boy. Now, Stony boy is probably my favorite character. I think his name's Zach or something, but he's played by this guy named Greg Sipes. And Greg is a cutie. He's adorable. It seems like all of these friends hate each other. Nobody likes anybody in this group of friends. And I love that because why are you doing this? Why would you travel with people you hate? Nobody likes each other in this group of friends. Which is so interesting to me, because good storytelling, I feel like, involves, like the relationships between the people, and it's just not here with this. Apparently, they're going gold panning. At one point, and you'll notice there's a pot plant in the car, because obviously, guys, he's a stoner. He's gonna travel around with a pot plant in his car. Who doesn't? We just gotta hit home that this guy is a stoner. All he thinks about is weed. Maybe that's why I love him so much. As a stoner myself, I feel a kindred spirit to him. And plus, he's just so damn cute. They basically talk about what they're gonna do if they find this gold. Stoner boy Greg says that he's going to buy the tank that they keep Shamu in and turn it into a bong. Oh. Okay. Like I said, like the dialogue in this movie is just really it leaves something to be desired, and I don't even know what to say about that, but sure. When Tawny is questioned about what she would do if they found gold and they still get rich, she says she'd like to settle down and have some kids. We're treated to a little flashback dream sequence from the beginning of the movie of her with two twins. Yeah, so I guess that's what she wants to do, and then the jockey boyfriend is like, oh, I'll settle down with you, we'll fucking have babies. And we get a very quick, ooh, so quick you might miss it, little look from Stony Boy that's like,
settle down and have some children.
Oh, really?
I like to do a little baby making.
but it's kind of, you're kind of left to believe that he's just grossed out because they start making out at that point. And everybody looks to be grossed out, as I am grossed out. So it kind of flies over your head. So it comes back up later. I guess it's kind of important. Like, they're setting up one tiny thing for the future. So there's that. Annoying girl says she wants to save all the animals, and they all go, boo! You're boring. We hate animals. Ugh, you're so annoying. So these people are a treat. Just a treat. Beautiful people, beautiful characters. Honestly, just so relatable. Slutty girl, Vicky. I guess that's her name, Vicky, because of course it is. She says she would buy a new set of boobs, something else, and then she'd get an even bigger set of boobs. Why didn't you just get the biggest boobs the first time? You're wasting money, girl. You're not making good choices with that cash. You're going to need to back up that Brinks truck and get the double G's the first time. Okay? Yeah, let's use our heads. So they're driving along. Blah, 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 blah. They pull over to what they think is a campsite. It's actually a graveyard. Because those two things are very easy to mix up. While they're there, this inexplicable, okay, we've come to this part. This is probably my favorite thing of all in this movie. They're standing in this graveyard and they're like fucking around, just like trying to figure out what they're gonna do with their trip. A girl wearing like a white nightgown, like a old looking nightgown, comes out of thin air on this horse kind of in the distance, and she just goes, and they're like, whoa, did you see that? And then they all look back, and she's gone.
Did you see that?
What? That?
Gone. She's gone. But then they're, surprised by this old gas station man kind of, I guess he's a farmer or a miner or something, but he's like, overalls kind of guy. And he's like, telling them, you guys need to get out of here. There was a murder that happened in these woods. And then we're treated to the flashback where we set up Simon and Stanley. Okay, Simon and Stanley are our killers in this movie. Is that a spoiler? I don't know. The movie's called Simon Says, so I feel like maybe we knew that already. So we're treated to a flashback sequence to give us this exposition that we need. We need this. Basically, Simon and Stanley are two brothers, twin brothers, twins. Clearly, Simon is slow. Okay, we're seeing their parents, their mommy and daddy, talking about how, oh, Simon's such a sweet boy, but Stanley, he's so evil and he's got wicked ways. And we see those wicked ways in action where basically Stanley has created this little rock launcher, and he's like, Simon, stand over there. And Simon goes and stands in the water because he's slow. And Stanley proceeds to try to hit him in the head with this rock launcher that he's created. And Simon moves out of the way, and Stanley's mad about it. And Simon's like, I'm sorry, I won't move next time, Stanley, I'm sorry. And he chases him off into the woods, and then Stanley pulls him behind a log. He's smoking some weed, and he's like, Simon says, which he's not Simon, he's Stanley. Simon says, smoke this. And Simon is like, no, smoking's bad for you. And Stanley is like, but you're already stupid. And he's like, okay, yeah, you got a point there. He starts smoking it, and there's this awkward choo-choo train clip.
Smoke like a choo-choo train.
I mean, basically, Simon is gonna run off, and I guess Stanley thinks he's gonna tell their parents that they were smoking, and so he jumps on him and starts beating him up, and he hits him in the head with a rock, and we're to believe that killed him. I mean, there is a twist, there is a reveal later on in the movie, but it's kind of made pointless because this movie's already showed us that Stanley killed Simon. So it's ineffective. And all the clips from the newspaper clippings from the intro is like, surviving twin does this and that and that. So we know that he killed Simon. We know already. So this twist is just dead on arrival. Interesting. Something else to note is that Simon and Stanley's father is actually played by Crispin Glover's real-life dad, which is kind of cool because why? And then out of nowhere, another guy comes up. That's the thing, is that everybody keeps coming up in this movie and nobody hears them or sees them, even though they're in the middle of, like, a field in the woods. How are you not seeing them? But it is one of the things that makes this movie so charming. So now our beautiful group of friends is arriving at the gas station to get beer and supplies before they head into the woods, which they were already doing, so shouldn't you have that stuff, but whatever. So they're trying to pay, and we get the first shot of Crispy Gloves as Simon, the mysteriously dead boy. Simon comes out, says something about, oh, you're down in jail. Something. You can't understand what he's saying.
Don't want to go to jail.
Dickbag, jock guy, Riff, says, oh, this guy's R-worded, right? And Simon takes that very personally, and he says he's not R-worded. He's not stupid. And then he proceeds to freak the fuck out and run to the back. Immediately, once he runs to the back, Stanley comes out and he goes, oh, I'm sorry for my brother Simon. He's got good days and bad.
Excuse my brother. He's got good days and bad.
He says, sorry we don't have ice or whatever you need, but we don't have a lot of folks coming through this town, so we don't have cause for necessities.
Necessities.
Tawny says, oh, it must get pretty lonely up here with nobody out here. And he says, yes, if only I could spend it with a dream girl. And he seductively touches her hand, and she pulls back because, yeah, obviously. And they all proceed to get kind of, worked up about this, and hey, don't touch our friend and stuff. They're leaving, they're on the way out, and the annoying girl, she says, one call from the health department, I can have you shut down, mister. Her friends collect her, and they say, chill, doll. Yeah, chill, doll, we're leaving. And so I guess in Stanley's head, her name is Doll. Okay. So the gang hits the road again to go to their murder campsite, and we are treated to a montage barrage of just insufferable behavior from every single person. The jock guy is like, oh, let me show you my penis, and he stands up and puts his finger through the fly of his pants and is pretending it's just so stupid. So they see a hitchhiker, and they don't pick him up, but the slutty chick does flash her boobies at him, and he's grateful. And as they're driving away, he steps back into the forest where we see a little tripwire that his foot triggers. A pickaxe swings from the tree line of the woods, and he is murdered. We have our first kill. First kill! Oh, it's so sweet. Oh, we loved our first kill. Uh-oh. Sorry, Hitchhiker. Your time was short and sweet. We appreciate all you did. The last thing you saw was titties. And that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. But we're sad to see you go. In the arms of the angels, fly away from here. R.I.P. So they're hanging out at the campsite. Riff decides he's gonna go get firewood, and slutty girl Vicky follows him into the woods. While they're gone, Stony Boy decides to get the grill going. They're gonna set up the grill to eat food, and the grill is disgusting. It's got like old food on it, and he's like, "Oh, this is beef. This is chicken." And he goes, "This is a little bit of rattlesnake. Here, Tawny, try this." And she goes, "No, that's disgusting." And this deeply offends him. This deeply offends him. And he's like, "You know what? It's always about you, isn't it? Isn't it, Tawny? You bitch." You didn't want to eat off the grill. You don't want to do this or that. You've never had to do anything for yourself, huh? All of this because she doesn't want to eat old rattlesnake off a grill. Seems excessive. And they continue to have this conversation that is pointless about how, "Stony Boy, you only have one more year of school left. You can't enter the real world with your head in a smoke cloud." And I mean, you can. You arguably can. And he says, "You know what? I have a hibachi grill in my car, but I'm a stoner, so I didn't remember to bring the propane. But I'll go back into town, and I'll get propane for you, because you're a complainer, you bitch." So she's like, "No, don't leave me here." And he does. Because none of these people are friends or care about each other. While that's happening, Doll is preparing for her run. She needs to get her run in, guys. She's got to get her run in before nightfall. So she's running around the woods, getting that jog in. And we cut now to a scene of Riff and Vicky. Vicky's coming on to him, and she's saying, "Why are you even with Tawny? She's so boring." And he says,
"I love her. Sort of. I mean, she's hot."
Ugh. Man, that's romantic. That's beautiful. She's like, "You always do what she tells you to do." And he immediately changes his mind and says, "Oh, did she tell me to do this?" And so they start making out in the woods. Doll, who's on her run, sees them, and she's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And they're like, we didn't do nothing. And they head back to camp, where Tawny greets them, and she's like, "Stony Boy left me here to go to the gas station. Like, where were you guys?" And she's instantly suspicious, as she should be, because she knows her friends are trash. During all this, we also see kind of a spy shot, POV shot in the woods of somebody watching Tawny sunbathing. And the POV shot comes up behind her, and she says, "It's not nice to keep your dream girl waiting." And the person that we can't see is like pouring blood all over her back and like rubbing it in like it's sunscreen. And she's loving it, but then she realizes that it's blood, and she's like, "Ah!" And that's the end of that. So I guess that was just a daydream from, obviously it's Stanley or Simon. Obviously it's Stanley, because Simon is dead. So while Tawny is questioning Riff about what was happening with Vicky in the woods, they start making out, and Doll runs up, and she goes, "Jesus, Riff, 2 in a row." And now Tawny is pissed. She's like, "What?" And Riff somehow finds a way to like smooth things over with her and make it all right, whatever. While Doll continues her run in the woods, she's been running. This girl runs. While she's running in the woods, we see Stanley or Simon, somebody, in a ghillie suit, standing at this like contraption that's like a target, and he's like, and we don't know what it is yet, but the reveal is pretty great. So she's running in the woods. She runs into this ghillie-suited man, and he wrestles her to the ground, and realizes once he pulls off the ghillie suit that she's not Dream Girl. He thought it was Dream Girl Tawny. It's Doll.
You're not Dream Girl. You're
Chill out, dog. Yeah, dog.
Doll.
Now he's pissed. She freaks out, kicks him away, runs off into the woods, immediately snaps her ankle on a tree branch. Immediately. And snaps her ankle. We see her crawling. She's trying to get away. And then he's back to the machine somehow. Machine. All of a sudden, a pickaxe on a huge rope attached to a machine flies between the trees. It missed every tree between Doll and wherever this location is that he's throwing this pickaxe from. It gets her directly in the back and drags her away. We have our second confirmed kill. It's Doll. Goodbye, Doll. I wish we could say that you'll be missed. You were annoying, but you were probably the best person out of the group. I will say that. So goodbye. So Doll is now dead, and Simon is talking to the body of Doll, and he says, "Oh, you'll be a perfect gift for my dream girl." Okay. While he's hacking up the body, Bijon Freeze happens through the the woods, and grabs her hand that's now disconnected from her body and runs off with it. He chases after the dog because he needs that hand for his present for Dream Girl. And the dog runs back to its owner, who is a woman that's camping in the woods. And she sees that it has a hand in its mouth, and she goes, "Oh." And then Simon stomps on the dog. Just stomps it flat to death. And honestly, it's one of the best uses of CGI in this film. There are a couple instances of CGI, and I guess it's one of the better ones. It's not fun. She runs off to her campsite where two of her friends are there. Simon shows up, hilariously murders them. All of them are murdered in a hilarious way. He seems to have superhuman strength, which I guess tracks for reasons I won't say. Stony Boy arrives at the gas station to get the propane for the hibachi grill, and nobody is there. Extra spooky. He just kind of wanders in, and he finds in the back room just body bags hanging from the ceiling. I guess he doesn't seem to realize that they're bodies until he opens one and discovers that there's bodies. They're bodies, and they're wrapped in newspaper. So on the way out, he takes the newspaper clippings off of the bodies, which I guess is a proof to him. He's worried that because he's high and stoned all the time, nobody's going to believe him. So he takes the newspaper clippings as proof. I don't know why he couldn't have just taken one of the hands that fell out. I don't know. But he takes the newspaper clippings to prove to them, these guys are killers. We need to get out of here. On the way back, he has to lose some of the newspapers because a fly hits him in the neck. A fly hits him in the neck, and he's burned by his joint. So, classic stoner boy. Classic. Right as he's driving by, Simon Stanley is hoisting up the one of the campers that he's killed at the other campsite with the dog. And he says, "Oh, it looks like your ride's here." And he swings her out on a rope in front of the car. And because Stoner Boy is like panicking because a fly hit his neck and now he's getting burned by his joint, hits the hood and he's unaware of what he hit because he's too distracted. He's a distracted driver. And so he he stops and pulls over because clearly he's hit something. But what's kind of interesting here is that the body literally just swings. He hits the body with his car and it just continues to swing into the other tree line on the other side of the road, never to be seen again. Like, where did it go? Like, the laws of gravity do not explain this. Like, she would have to swing back. But she doesn't. And so the only thing he sees in the road is the body of the dead dog that Crispin Glover stomped on, which I guess he threw into the road when he pushed her out. Again, I'm focusing too much on the details of this, but it is hilarious just because there's no, you can't, it wouldn't. So Stoner Boy just thinks he hit a dog and he just drives right over it again on the way out. So it's about nightfall now at the campsite and they're getting worried because Doll has been gone on her run forever and she hasn't come back. Stanley pulls up in his truck to their campsite. He arrives before Greg does. And he says, "Oh, I just wanted to let you guys know that my brother Simon is missing." And they said, "Well, our friend Ashley," or whatever her name is, Doll, is missing. And he goes,
My brother Simon's gone missing. Probably that little Oriental girlfriend of yours and Simon got together.
and they're like, no. Greg pulls up, Stony Boy pulls up, and of course he knows that, like, this guy's a killer, but they don't know that yet, and so he's trying to, like, kind of play it cool. And they're like, no, listen, like, can you just get out of here? We need to find our friend. And you were treated to this.
Back off. Sorry, I'm just a little tense here. What was Simon missing at all? He's like a child.
I'm just a little tense. What was Simon missing and all? It's truly amazing. Amazing. You know, at this point in the movie, I think we're still kind of expected to believe that Simon and Stanley are different people, that they're both alive. It's just so preposterous. Greg was able to save, like, one of the news clippings, and he shows them, and it happens to be the most pertinent one, where it's like, twin murdered, blah, blah, blah. And so I guess they figure out that, you know, Simon and Stanley are bad guys. Or at least that one of them is murdered. I would think that if it said in the news clipping that one of them was murdered, they would know at that point that there's just one of them. But it never really comes up. Right as they're figuring it out and they're like, oh, we got to get out of here, somebody sticks a pickaxe through the tires of their car, so they're now stranded. But when they come out of the tent and they're like, what? Nobody's there. Like, they don't chase anybody off. They're not like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? It just happens, and then they run into the woods to look for Doll. It's smart. It's smart decision making. Okay, so they're in the woods. They're looking for Doll, aka Ashley, aka Annoying Girl. And they start hearing music playing. So they follow the sounds of the music, and they discover what's left of Ashley. It's just like a head and hands and her feet. And she's like displayed like a doll, which is clever. They're horrified, of course. I mean, if you find your friend in that state, I would think that you would be pretty horrified. So they unplug the headphones because we got to get this music to stop. This is stop the music. So when they pull the headphones out, Doll, when she was running, she had this like CD player. She was listening to classic old school CD player, and it appears that Simon has turned her into her mutilated corpse into a CD player, and whenever they pull the headphones out, the CD comes out of her mouth like and they're even more horrified now, so things are cooking. While they're standing there freaking out about their doll friend, CD player, boombox girl, Somebody sneaks up behind Riff in a ghillie suit. It's Stanley. Sneaks up behind Riff in a ghillie suit and stabs him several times. And they all freak out and they all run in different directions. Now it is a fertile hunting ground for Stanley. He mysteriously, is the only really way you could put it, somehow gets back to his command station of his machines that throw pickaxes through the woods. And he gets back there and he's, trying to hunt them all. There's even more machines revealed now at this point, and they throw multiple pickaxes from every direction. Now how? I don't know. He's clearly a super genius. He clearly has a lot of engineering skills, honestly. I don't know. So there's just a flurry of pickaxes flying through the air. They're all CGI. It's pretty good. Now, I didn't mention earlier, man, I should have mentioned this. Another one of the traps that he had set up was like this big log with pickaxes all through it. And then a smaller one that comes out kind of like a saw blade and then cuts off the feet of the campers, the paintballers. Pretty good. So he's got lots of traps going. It's pretty great. So all the pickaxes are flying through the air. Everybody's kind of like running for their lives. In the melee of the pickaxes, we have Riff. He is down for the count. I can't say I'll miss you. You were the worst. But another kill. And that's what we like to see. So thank you for that. Slutty girl Vicky runs into Stanley in the woods. She panics. She freaks out. And he says, "No, I'm Simon. No, I'm Stanley." And she says, "I don't know which one you are." And he says, "Stanley." And he goes, "I'm not going to let Simon hurt you. Why should he have all the fun?" So if at this point in the movie we are still to believe that Simon and Stanley are different people, they are both murderous. We did know that earlier from Stanley, just based off of the way that he wanted to hurt his brother in that flashback and the way that his parents spoke about him. So I guess that checks out if we're still following the narrative that both of these brothers are alive, I guess. But Simon was never, murderous. He drags Vicky off into the woods. He then proceeds to hang her from a tree. Sorry, Vicky. We will miss you. Well, we won't. But goodbye anyway. So now we have Stony Boy, Greg, running through the woods. I guess Stanley made it back to his command center of pickaxe throwing. And we are treated again to another scene of pickaxes flying from every which direction. And he's dodging them. He's rolling on the ground. He's smoking a joint, which you got to keep your mind straight. You gotta do that. You're going to want to, get your head right. Really make sure that your reflexes are on point. And you're nice and high for pickaxe dodging. That's going to be crucial. While he's dodging the pickaxes, he does get hit in the leg. It's not a critical hit, so he's still alive. We're good there. Next scene, we have Tawny. She's walking along the road. She's trying to get help. Stanley, and okay, how is this man able to do all of this in the course of 10 minutes, 15 minutes? He's able to be in every possible place to murder each individual person and to throw all these pickaxes. It's just perplexing. He's a man of many skills. He's agile. He's quick. That's really the only explanation for it. He's everywhere, man. He's really just like a classic horror villain where he's everywhere that he needs to be to kill. He tells Tawny, "Hi, Tawny, we got your friends. We took them to the police station. Everything's good. I'll take you there now. Just jump in my car, and I'll get you there safely. Now, Stony Boy is watching all this happen from the woods. So, when she's getting into his car, he takes the opportunity to sneak into the bed of the truck and hide so that he can, try to, I don't really know what his plan is at this point, but he stows away into the truck. He's a good friend. He's, like I said, quick thinker. So, while they're in the car, just weirdness abounds. Now, there is a turn at a certain point where he pulls a lever. It really, wrenches that seatbelt back on her. And he says they're going to go off-roading. Here's the clip.
Yeah, you think you're having fun now? Just wait!
Why? Why? She's your dream girl. I don't condone domestic violence, and honestly, I'm disappointed in him. This is your dream girl. Let's court her. Let's romance her a little bit. Let's not go off-roading and punch her in the face, but you are a bad guy. So, the scene is hilarious. Honestly, it's one of my favorite quotes from the movie. Oh, what? In the process of the off-roading adventure, Greg, our Stony Boy, is in the back of the truck. He gets doused in gasoline. That is important in a moment. So our lovebirds, Stanley and Dream Girl Tawny, pull up to this, picnic table kind of situation where there's, 2 skeletons sitting at a picnic table. And there's, a cooler and all that kind of stuff. And he sits her down at the table and he wants to introduce her to his mama and daddy.
Mother? And,
Daddy. Yeah, he proceeds to just be in a great mood. This is a great time for him to introduce his new dream girl to his parents. He's making jokes. He offers her a hand sandwich.
hand sandwich!
I mean, oh. In the process of this, a man in a ghillie suit comes out of the woods. And we're expected to believe that this is Simon. Stanley sees Simon approaching. And he says, "What do you want to eat, Simon? Ham or your favorite?" And he says, "My favorite." Now, Stanley immediately knows this isn't Simon because Simon is dead. But also because when he asked him what he wanted to eat, he didn't say Simon Says. So he cuts off his fingers. It's revealed that it is Stony Boy Greg. He came back. He tried to save Dream Girl Tawny. And now he's just in a big predicament here. While he's tied to the tree, Stanley finds Stony Boy's giant bag of weed. Proceeds to make the biggest joint, comically large joint I've ever seen in my life. And then proceeds to force him to smoke it while he's tied up. He, punches him in the stomach, and then it forces him to, draw in a big inhale. And so it appears that he's going to make Stony Boy smoke himself to death, which, I mean, it's an on-brand death. It is. In the process of forcing him to smoke this, some of the, fire from the joint itself falls onto the ghillie suit. And as you remember, Stony Boy is now doused in gasoline. So that's not good for him. He lights on fire and is burning alive. The CGI is terrible. Yeah. Before this happens, though, I should mention this. While he's tied up, Tawny says, "Why did you come back?" And he says, "Like I said, it's all about you, right? It's always been about you. You're my dream girl."
You're my dream girl.
And honestly, this is the biggest reveal of the movie because literally they have done nothing to suggest that there is this unrequited crush going on between Stony Boy and Tawny. Very, as I mentioned earlier, there's that little, like, look at the beginning when she's making out with Riff that he's like, But that's it. That's all we get. That's really it. And I really wish that they would have done this storyline like a little more service, because it is kind of cute. Like, he's cute. It's cute. Could we have explored that a little bit more? But there was just no time. There was just no time. We had to get more pickaxes flying through the air. We had to get those. So that's revealed. And then he proceeds to force Stony Boy to smoke this comically large joint on while he's tied up on the tree. That's it. That's the end of that storyline. There was a cute little crush thing that could have happened that could have made us care, but they chose not to explore that. He's now lighting on fire. Stanley then kind of breaks into this like, oh, listen for it. There's gonna be a death rattle. He goes, I don't know why they do this. They do it every time. Like, he just goes into the most like normal explanation of like, isn't that crazy that they make this sound? It's so funny and interesting. It's like, sure, man, sure.
I don't know why it happens, but they all seem to do it. Same witch trials, well documented.
So at this point now we have Tawny. She's the only one left. Lover boy, stoner boy is now gone. R.I.P. Honestly,
Saddest to see him go. I liked him the most. What's she gonna do to get out of this, man? What is she gonna do? Well, I'll tell you what she's gonna do. She's gonna use her feminine wiles. She's gonna use her feminine wiles to seduce Stanley into untying her hands so that she could touch his penis. She's like, oh, your friend there looks like it wants me to touch it. And he's like, she convinces him to untie her hands. She mounts him on the picnic table. Just, again, it's all a facade to get free, because in the middle of the picnic table there is an axe. And she's going to try to use that. She's going to try to get that so that she can chop him right in the head. So she manages to reach for it and get it. And she's bringing it down on his head. He is a superhuman, okay? He goes, ah, and he catches it before it hits her. She's able to get away. She runs into the woods. He runs after her. It's like a whole chase thing. And so he runs around the woods for a while looking for her. Can't find her. Where'd she go? Where is she? He comes back to the campground and he's like, I know you're around here. I can smell you. And we can't see her. We don't know where she is. Where is she? Where is she? Where could she be? Where is she hiding? I don't know how to tell you this, but she is hiding in the corpse of the burned up Stony Boy. Now, again, you may be asking, how'd she get in his corpse? He's tied up against a tree. So how? The answer is unimportant. She's in there. So she busts out of the corpse of Stony Boy with the axe, gets crispy gloves right in the head.
Taste.
Right here. Critical hit. It looks like it's gone in pretty deep. And we're thinking, okay, our heroine has prevailed. Cut to next scene. A whole new van full of young youths stopping by the gas station to get their supplies before they go camping in the woods. The cycle continues. We see Stanley in the gas station, and he's got two mirrors there, and he's like slapping the shit out of his face. And he goes, Stanley. So now he's in Stanley mode. I guess this is his process. And he walks out to them. Even though he says Stanley when he slaps himself in the face, he comes out from the gas station as Simon. So, yeah. He comes out to talk to this new group of youths. And Blake Lively comes to the front and she says,
We need you to direct us to the most righteous campsite.
in the most remote spot, in the deepest, darkest part of the woods, where dangerous men do dark deeds.
We want to go into the deepest, darkest part of the woods where all the psychos murder people. And then Simon says, yeah, I can do that. Takes off his hat. It's revealed that there's this giant scar right here. So he survived Tawny. I mean, some reveal we already knew that because you're alive right now. And he starts going, gonk, 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 like there's a metal plate in his head. He's like, Simon makes a joke. And they're like, great, cool. And they're on their way, and you know the process is going to be repeated again. Now he goes back into the gas station. He opens up a secret compartment in the floor. And who is down there? It's Tawny. It's Tawny in the cellar. She's disheveled. She's being held against her will. And wouldn't you know it, when she turns around like this, she's got twins. She's got 2 twins. Presumably Stanley's children. Which kind of takes us back to the beginning where, you know, you get that flashback, flash forward, I guess, scene where Tawny has the twins with the bad wigs and one of them hits the other one with the truck. I guess that's real. Well, he got his dream girl. And Simon did say. That's the full movie right there. Like I said, you can watch it on YouTube. Just type in Simon Says Movie. It's going to be one of the first things that pops up. Now, you know, Blake Lively should not have been on the cover. But they did that to sell DVDs, I guess. This was not a theater release. This was a straight DVD release. And so I guess they thought with her success from those other couple of movies that she had been in, like put her on the cover and probably sell more. And it worked. It worked on me. And then a year after this is when she starts Gossip Girl. So, you know, it's only up from there. But I'll always remember her best for her tiny, tiny, dumb, stupid role in Simon Says. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if there's like certain movies that you want me to review or cover. I think I'm probably going to do some more like mainstream horror stuff in the future. I have some plans for like an Evil Dead video and some different things. I'm not only going to do bad horror movies, but I would like to continue doing them just because they're so fun to talk about. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts below. Like and subscribe. This is my first video, so, you know, we'll just see where it goes from here. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Okay. Bye-bye.